It's Friday, July 28th, and this is now on HNN. The Navy is conducting fire training exercises to prepare for the defueling of the Red Hill tanks.
Closing arguments in the Haley Danduran murder trial before her fate is handed to a jury.
New charges in the special counsel's investigation into former President Trump's handling of classified documents. I'm Natalie Brand with a look at how Trump's legal issues are expanding.
These stories, plus Casey Lund takes us to Waimanalo for yoga with some four-legged friends. Coming up on This Is Now.
Thank you for watching This Is Now, everyone. You got Dylan and Ashley here. The military is preparing to defuel the Red Hill fuel tanks on October 16th. Now, that operation will focus on the removal of 104 million gallons of fuel, which we now know contaminated the Navy's water supply.
Yeah, and to prepare for that, the Red Hill Task Force is preparing their emergency response if anything should go wrong during that defueling. And among those exercises is fire training. These Army and Air National Guard reservists are training to be rovers at the Red Hill Fuel Facility during the defueling operation. That training includes preparing for fires, learning how to wear heavy fire equipment, and fighting actual fires in cramped spaces. This simulator is supposed to be a submarine where the fire went all the way up to the ceiling. It's dark, hot, and the reservists can't see. Trainers say the conditions are supposed to be as real as possible.
It's very accurate to what real life scenarios would be, and I've been in several fires on board submarines.
So when will the reservists be fully trained and ready to go? Our Mahealani Richardson will have more on this story coming up tonight on Hawaii News Now.
HFD put out an overnight fire at Kewalo Basin Waterfront Park in Kaka'ako. We're told a 40-foot storage container went up in smoke and flames near the Canoe Pavilion structure. This was right at midnight. No injuries were reported. A fire investigator has been called in to try to determine the cause and the damage estimate. Closing arguments are underway in the Haley Danduran murder trial. She's accused of killing Telma Boinville at a Pupukea vacation home back in 2017. Danduran claims her then boyfriend Stephen Brown was solely responsible for the crime and said she was coerced to stay at the scene out of fear that Brown would attack her as well. Brown has already been found guilty in the killing, and prosecutors are working for another conviction. We'll have more from court online and in later editions of Hawaii News Now.
She said, I'm going to come clean and tell you everything.
And so she told you what you thought was everything?
Yes.
Including that she had the affair from May to July of 2021?
Yes.
Including that it was with John Tokuhara?
Yes.
New testimony in court today as the trial continues for Eric Thompson, accused of murder in a love triangle. Prosecutors cross-examining him on the stand today. Now, Thompson has already taken the stand in his own defense, claiming he isn't responsible for the murder. He told the jury he even accepted some of the blame for the affair and was trying to move on. Keahi Tucker recaps the case so far.
Did you kill John Tokuhara?
No, I didn't.
Under oath, Eric Thompson denied killing his wife's lover in Waipahu last year. Thompson said he was at a dump in Waimanalo at the time, and later a grocery store in Hawaii Kai. He said the flames seen in his backyard were from tiki torches, not evidence being destroyed. And the burned bucket police found, he said, was for heating metals for work projects.
That's Joyce's handwriting.
The jury also saw a letter Thompson's wife wrote to Tokuhara, thanking the acupuncturist for his help after she had a miscarriage and eventually gave birth.
After our daughter was born, my mom came over to to help take care of Joyce and the baby on the days that I would go to work. She continued treatment with John. I think she said that it was to help heal from the birth process.
Thompson said he later realized they were having an affair, and she confessed.
There's that pissed off period, but I came to the realization that the problem was with me and Joyce. It wasn't. She cut him off.
Thompson said he and his wife weren't sure if their marriage would survive, so after 16 years together, the high school sweethearts signed an agreement to split their assets.
We didn't want to go to war over a divorce if it ever happened.
But Thompson says they stayed married and tried to move on. Tokuhara was shot to death about 7 months after the affair ended. Thompson has been on house arrest for the past 18 months and insists police got the wrong man.
No, I had nothing to do with it.
No further questions, Your Honor.
A circuit court judge ruled yesterday that Isabella Ariel Kalua is dead, opening the door for her siblings to sue the state. The matter was handled in probate court. The judge ruled that the 6-year-old died on or around August 18, 2021, and approved representatives for her siblings. Kalua's body was never found. Her adoptive parents, Isaac and Lehua Kalua, are charged with murder. A lawyer representing the siblings told the court they were running out of time to file the civil case.
There is a statute of limitations for a civil filing that will expire shortly, and waiting for the criminal case would do irreparable harm to each of these minors and the estate.
Trial for the Kaluas is set for August 28th.
A prominent architect who admitted to bribing Honolulu building inspectors was sentenced to 1 year in federal prison. 73-year-old William Wong cooperated with prosecutors in a probe that convicted 5 employees of the Department of Planning and Permitting. Wong pleaded for forgiveness and said he caved into the corruption in the department and paid bribes to help his clients. A judge gave him credit for cooperation and for an otherwise respectable life. His 1 year sentence is less than those he bribed. 3 DPP employees have been sentenced to between 18 months and 5 years. 2 more are scheduled for sentencing next month. Wong will surrender to a mainland facility in September.
Former President Donald Trump said today that he would not end his 2024 presidential campaign, even if he's convicted of the charges he's facing. The frontrunner for the Republican nomination made the comments a day after federal prosecutors announced new charges against him. Natalie Brand has more.
Former President Trump campaigns in Iowa Friday as he faces new charges in the classified documents case.
This is harassment. This is election interference.
A 60-page superseding indictment accuses Trump of conspiring to pressure a Mar-a-Lago employee to delete security camera footage that had been subpoenaed by investigators. The indictment also names a new defendant, Mar-a-Lago property manager Carlos de Oliveira. Prosecutors allege he told an IT employee, quote, the boss wanted the server deleted.
The cover-up is not only a crime in and of itself, it also shows that this was not an accident.
And the former president now faces an additional count of willful retention of national defense information. He's accused of showing an Iran war plan to visitors at his New Jersey golf club. The indictment notes Trump speaking during a 2021 interview with a writer and publisher. CBS News obtained a recording of that conversation.
It is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. Look at this.
The latest legal development comes as the former president waits for a possible indictment from a Washington, D.C. grand jury, looking into Trump's actions following the 2020 presidential election and the January 6th Capitol attack.
As the legal issues pile up, Trump remains the frontrunner for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. Sources close to him tell CBS News his inner circle is confident about his chances, but also on edge. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
President Biden is overhauling the way serious crimes are reported in the military. CBS's Willie James Inman reports from Washington, D.C.
President Biden signed an executive order Friday reforming the military justice system. A key part of that reform focuses on how the military handles cases of sexual assault and other violent crimes. The order establishes rules for the newly created offices of Special Trial Counsel. It also modernizes procedures to better protect victims and promote fairness, as well as reform the court-martial sentencing system. The changes were part of a bipartisan effort contained within the National Defense Authorization Act of 2022, and it comes after an independent review of sexual assault cases in the military. The executive order effectively removes prosecution decisions from the military chain of command to an independent set of military prosecutors for cases involving sexual assault, gender-based violence, domestic violence, murder, and other serious crimes. For CBS News, I'm Willie James Inman.
Ford is recalling more than 870,000 F-150 trucks due to issues with the parking brakes. The recall includes vehicles from 2021 through 2023. According to Ford, the parking brake may become activated on its own while driving without the driver doing anything. That can increase the risk of a crash. The company says it has received 299 claims of unexpected parking brake activation, including 19 which occurred while the trucks were in motion. Ford says it does not know if any crashes or injuries resulted from the incidents. Owners should be getting the recall letters on September 11th. However, you should have your vehicle inspected at a dealership. That will be free of charge.
In travel news, handicapped accessible bathrooms are coming to single-aisle airplanes. The Department of Transportation will start requiring the lavatories on any plane with at least 125 seats. That includes popular aircraft like the Boeing 737 and Airbus A320. The restrooms will be required to have grab bars, accessible faucets, call buttons, and minimum obstruction to get in and out. Right now, fully accessible bathrooms are only required on wide-body jets. The rule applies to new planes which will be delivered in 2026. Anything in service before those deadlines do not need to be retrofitted. It's not uncommon for airplanes to fly for more than 30 years.
The state will open 11 new free public preschool classrooms this fall as part of the Ready Keiki initiative. 7 will open on Oahu, 2 on Maui, 1 on Kauai, and 1 on the Big Island. 20 students, 3 and 4-year-olds, will be enrolled in each classroom at no cost to parents. Lawmakers got a first-hand look at one of the classrooms at Wailuku Elementary School on Maui.
Now, preschool and childcare costs as much as $1,500 a month, and that's equivalent to somebody's rent. Can you imagine somebody who is working so hard, middle-income families, our working families, are not only paying rent, they're also paying for childcare expenses. This will be a huge burden off many of their working families.
Applications are now open. Look for more details on hawaiinewsnow.com.
And joining us now with insight on a very special documentary airing tonight is our Mahealani Richardson. Mahea, tell us about it. What is this special that's happening tonight?
Well, it was the Hokulea's beginning of its Moana Nui a Kea, a voyage for Earth. It started in June, anchored in Alaska. And I have to tell you, Dylan, it was a life-changing experience. The crew started in Alaska because this is a very special place for the Polynesian Voyaging Society because of the donation of logs back in the 1990s. And so we were invited to be on board Hokulea. And I have to say, it was amazing to see the crew navigating through those cold waters and then doing a beach landing there in Yakutat, which is a small town in Alaska, and to be welcomed by the community wrapped in warm blankets. It was really extraordinary to be on the canoe and to hear the music, to hear the chanting, and see really this connection of two cultures.
Yeah, and you were there for quite a while. I think it was about a week, right, or so?
Well, it was actually 2 weeks, 2 separate trips. One was Yakutat and the other was Juneau. And there were so many cultural exchanges. We did a practice called cold water bathing. I do not like cold water, but members of the Hokulea went into water that was 40 degrees very slowly. And it's part of an ancient practice that the warriors did to prepare for battle. And it was really spiritual. It hurt. It was shocking, but after a while, it just cleared your mind and took all the pain away.
Yeah, ice baths. I don't understand how people can do that. I too do not like cold water, so I would not jump in there. I want to ask you about those cultural exchanges. What similarities in the Hawaiian culture and the native culture there did you see, or how different are they?
Well, the main mission for Moana Nui Akea, this 4-year voyage around the Pacific, is really to bring cultures together and to remember to heal the earth. You know, President Nainoa Thompson has often said that culture is facing extinction, indigenous cultures. And so by having the Hokulea come together with these people who are of that land in Alaska, it allowed people to do their ancient practices, to do their songs and dances. Some of them, they haven't done this in more than 100 years. So it's really about the rejuvenation of culture and protecting the earth.
Yeah, and the last question, can you just talk about the scope of this voyage? I mean, the last major Hokulea voyage had a grand homecoming at Magic Island. How does this voyage compare to that one?
Well, this voyage is much longer and it's more dangerous. Obviously, it started in Alaska. They are now in British Columbia, and Hokulea will go all the way down the west coast, down to South America. It'll go to Satawal, New Zealand, Japan, Tahiti. And, you know, I think UH President said it best. He said that this voyage is really special because the places that they are visiting, it is so close to home. And it is dangerous. And so safety is a big priority, and also bringing people together.
Our Mahealani Richardson taking a look at Moana Nui Akea, a voyage all the way around the Pacific. We're so excited to see your special. Again, that's airing tonight on K5. All the details on Hawaii News Now. We are looking forward to that special indeed, but for now, let's go ahead and take a live look over the St. Louis Gateway Arch. It's a beautiful shot, clear skies there, but it is 100 degrees there right now. East Missouri is under an excessive heat warning, as many states across the mainland are right now. And back here at home, it is hot, not that hot, but let's go ahead and give you your forecast with Guy Hoggy.
How's it on this Aloha Friday? We're looking at really, really nice weather. In fact, a long stretch of nice weather is expected. No cyclonic activity in the Central Pacific, very quiet in the East Pacific as well. There are some clouds upstream coming in with the trade wind flow. Going to be a little cloudy at times for those windward areas, and there are some showers embedded in those clouds. So we have a few minor splashes for the usual spots this morning, but not a lot of rain expected because the rain's moving along at a good pace. It's light as well. And look at those. The trade wind breezes are blowing in at double digits, even though it's early, going to get stronger throughout the day. It's going to be kind of a windy day today. Kind of be nice because with all the sunshine, you'll need those winds to keep us cool, keep the humidity levels low. Still, though, with all the sunshine, temperatures will be approaching 90 degrees. Biggest surf, it's because of those breezy winds over on the east side, 3 to 5 feet, slightly bigger. South Shore's on the way down, but South Shores are expecting a little bit of a boost coming up sometime maybe between Sunday and Monday. Not a big swell, just a minor pulse coming in between Sunday and Monday. Now, as far as the weather, it's not going to change very much. In fact, the breezy winds, the abundant sunshine, going to linger into next week. Same thing every day just about, and temperatures running to near 90.
All right, let's see what the internet is talking about. Fragments of a skull that is believed to have been Beethoven's are back in Vienna. They apparently spent the last 30 years in a locked drawer in California. Bradley Halbib reports.
Romeo in Vienna.
Paul Kaufman's remarkable journey begins in 1999 following the death of his mother. She lived in a small town south of France. After traveling there and going through her belongings,
so here's my office.
He would find a key. And that key would not only open up a safety deposit box, but inside reveal a second box full of mysteries.
A black tin container, actually, with a lid, and scratched on the surface was the name Beethoven.
Inside, wrapped in tissue, were fragments of a skull, thought to belong to one of the greatest composers the world has ever known.
Surprise and wonderment. What is this all about?
For the next 30 years, Kaufman tried to answer that question. He traveled back to the States with a skull in his suitcase and began researching, finding help from the top scholars in San Francisco and San Jose.
And we later learned that the investigator just was very excited about it.
Researchers would find a connection to Kaufman's great-great-uncle, Dr. Franz Romeo Seligman, a Viennese physician, medical historian, and anthropologist. Dr. Seligman received the bone fragments in 1863 after Beethoven's body was exhumed for research, in part to learn what made the composer go deaf in one ear. But technology was limited at the time, and research went cold.
And it's then handed down over all these 170 years to me as the only survivor in the family.
Just in the past week, Kaufman traveled to the Medical University of Vienna to return the fragments as a donation. They're now known as the Seligman fragments.
And how great was that?
But nearly 6,000 miles away in a home in Carmichael, Kaufman's gift is much more than a donation, but a family destiny fulfilled.
I mean, I can look up now in the sky and, see my mother and, all my relatives being so happy. They're back to Vienna, where they belong.
What a discovery. A rather puzzling one. If only you guys could see Ashley's face during that story. It's a very puzzling discovery. I mean, what a thing to find in your family heirlooms. Yes. Great for science there. Let's go ahead and give you one more story from the feeds. Thieves have once again struck the Vermont film set of Beetlejuice 2. That movie, the Beetlejuice 1, always kind of creeped me out as a kid, just a little bit. It was kind of scary. Vermont State Police say the set was being deconstructed and someone stole items, including some windows. They were already investigating reports of stolen props from the film set, including a lamppost with a pumpkin decoration and a 150-pound art sculpture that was stolen from the vicinity of the cemetery where the film had set up production. Of course, this Beetlejuice 2 was set to be released on September 6, 2024, but at this point it's unclear if the ongoing strikes in Hollywood will affect that release date.
All right, how about some good news? A farm in Waimanalo has a special yoga class that can be great for your mental health and ease your stress because you get some help from four-legged friends. Casey Lund went to check it out.
Aloha from Waimanalo and DLT Stables. We are trying out goat yoga. I'm here with a number of friends and Bonnie Lee. She is the instructor extraordinaire here at DLT Stables, and we're getting in plank position, correct?
Yes.
Okay, tell me a little bit about goat yoga and why you started it.
Well, I love these little guys. They're my favorite animals on the property, and I'm also a yoga instructor, so I thought putting them together would be an amazing thing to do. And it's been done before, but I hadn't seen it in Hawaii or on Oahu, so I wanted to start it.
And I want to ask just a little bit about how your clients have reacted. First of all, I want to thank the class for being here with us today too, but when people come out here and they get to try this and be with the goats, what are kind of the benefits beyond just the fitness aspect of it, of being with animals doing this?
Oh, it's so amazing for their immune system to be around the animals. It helps build up the immune system. And it's great for their mental health. So if you're stuck inside, you're stuck at your job 9 to 5, getting out with the animals is extremely beneficial for your mental health.
And I know that you actually had you might not have known this, a very dear friend of mine, Ashley Nagaoka, who works at Hawaii News Now. She came out here. You guys do private parties. What kind of things are people doing out here? Bridal showers, things like that?
They do bridal showers, bachelorette parties, you name it, birthday parties, going away parties. For the keiki too, the keiki can join as well.
Yeah, so how can folks get a hold of you? And I want to also mention, it's not just goat yoga out here. You got the zoo. What kind of stuff does the family kind of offer out here at DLT Stables as well?
Well, we offer birthday parties with pony rides, petting zoo. We do different keiki events where we have singers come in. I do fitness events. I'll be doing a fitness event this morning with the keiki. So there's just so many different things that we do back here, and homeschooling as well.
I absolutely love it. I've had a great time out here today. I want to thank you for hosting us. I want to try, what was the pose? This pose where I'm trying to get on my hands.
So you want to open your hands, place them down, keep your knees on one side of your triceps, your feet on the inside, eyes forward.
Eyes forward.
Slowly hinge. Bring up one foot and then the other foot.
Oh boy, Casey, we love that for him. Thanks for watching, everyone.